shows Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today is Angie Simmons. Angie, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi everyone, I'm on my phone today, so it's a little bit different to my PC. So, excuse me. I'm Angie Simmons. I'm a single mum from a man in town called Mansfield in the UK. I'm a personal development and mental wellness mentor. So I help people get unstuck, really. It comes from a place of me being there. So by turning my mental mess into my message, I help inspire and empower and support mission-driven individuals who are wanting to change their life, but are not quite sure how. As I say, I've been there after 9 years of intense inner work. I've actually totally changed mine and my daughter's life, and looking to help other people do exactly the same, rather than going around the houses like I did.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angie. So, our topic today is what we say to ourselves when we talk to ourselves. Basically, how we talk to ourselves is the critical component of how we are able to view our own life, and sometimes it can have a big impact over how we live our everyday lives, because if we are saying negative things and we are talking ourselves out of our blessings or where we need to go, then it can play a very big part of our lives, which is basically it can cause stagnation or hindrance moving forward. So I'm going to let Angie explain to our audience the topic, because she chose the topic. And normally when somebody attends the talk shows, one of the coaches, when they choose the topic, it means they are very passionate about the topic and they want to empower our audience. Over to you, Angie, please explain the topic to our audience, because you chose this topic.
Thank you very much, Namsa. Bless you. Yes, I did. And the reason why I chose this topic is because the question to put out to the audience is, well, a statement first and foremost. If you're not monitoring what you're thinking about, what do you know how do you know what you're focusing on? So the question is, what do you say to yourself on a daily basis? Are you saying empowering things to yourself like, I can do this? Or are you actually saying to yourself, who the hell do you think you are? You can't achieve that. I mean, the reason why I ask, those questions is because that's who I used to be 9 years ago. I was working full time as a kennel manager. I was dog grooming part time, single mom, and you know, I'd got this little part time dog grooming business that was paying the credit card. The full time job was me building somebody else's future, but as I like to put it, my own internal prison, because I didn't have the confidence, I didn't have the belief, or I wanted to get out of the job world. I wanted to be there for my daughter because I never saw her. She was struggling at the time with she's been picked on at school, and she was at bottom of her class. She was a very angry young lady, but then looking back, all she was doing was mirroring me. So it was a book that I actually came across called What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself? And I read that book, and I'll be honest, when I first read it 9 years ago, I just didn't get it. I was like, no, I parked that book. I absolutely parked it. It collected lots of dust because I couldn't process what it was trying to say. Over the years, I've picked it up a couple of more times. And as I've changed, as I've grown as a person, my 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 thought process in this book has totally changed. So 9 years ago, I was telling myself that I could never do it. I couldn't be self-employed. I needed that money to come in from my job to pay off my credit card bills that I'd racked up when I was struggling with mental health. So I'd got myself in this, as I say, talk about prison. I'd got myself in this mental prison because I was locked in. That's all I could do. I could only be an employee the dog grooming business, which was mine, was just for extra cash. I couldn't make that a full-time business. What I've learned is that I absolutely can, and I have done. You know, after 6 months of me starting to work on myself, I actually had this question come into my head. Well, why are you building somebody else's business? And why are you putting all your eggs into that basket when it's not yours? And I actually went to my boss at the time and I asked her for 2 days off extra a month. That's all I asked, because I knew that my mental health, I was struggling again with my mental health because I was getting aggressive, I was getting impatient, and I was crying a lot of times. I couldn't sleep. So I knew it was coming back. And I asked for 2 days off a month. And that's when she asked me that golden question. So what's happening with your dog grooming business? And I was like, wow, it's doing okay. It's paying the credit card, happy. I'm okay. It was doing what I needed it to do. Then she said, well, you need to decide whether it's your job or the dog grooming. And I instantly thought, what? I've got to decide. She's telling me I've got to choose. So then for me, it was like, I've got to choose between building her life and future or take control and build my life and future with my dog grooming business. And yeah, I made the decision. That was it. I was going to build my life and future and be there for my daughter, not somebody else's. And it was, like I said, it was that internal voice that was stopping me originally until I started working on myself. And within 6 to 8 months, I made that little part-time business, £200 a month, a full-time wage. But what it did do was give me the time back to take my daughter to school, to pick her up, to be there for a sports day, to support her and allow her to then start following her dream, to become an actress, a singer and a dancer. And we've carried that on all these years. And now I know, that internal voice in my head now is, if I want something, I can absolutely do it, rather than, who do you think you are? So that's where it all stemmed from. I think a lot of people don't spend time on themselves. I was the same. I hadn't got time for that. I was leaving the house at 6:30. I wasn't getting in till 6:30 at night. By the time I'd sorted out summer and the pets and everything else, I couldn't be bothered. I would sit on the sofa and binge watch whatever TV was on and drink a bottle of wine, maybe 2, depending on how I felt at the time, depending on what that inner voice was doing, what it was saying to me. But now I make sure I spend plenty of time with just me and my thoughts and process them. And I now notice when that little person turns up, that person that's trying to, you got 2 different parts of the brain, one that says, yes, you can. And then the other one is, who do you think you are? So now I get to listen to which voice is talking. And if the wrong voice is talking, I get to shut it up or rewire it, retrain it. So that's where it came up. How many people spend time noticing what they're thinking? And are those thoughts inspirational, positive ones? Or are they the ones that are keeping you stuck?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angie. I actually love it when you say basically you went through this journey and watching your daughter being bullied at school, and you helped her throughout, because when you were basically rediscovering your daughter was having problems, and you picked yourself up and helped your daughter as well. And it is very, very important for us not to listen to our internal voice that is trying to stop us becoming what we want to become. And is actually some people, they don't actually realize how blessed they are they get stopped by these voices inside that says you're not enough. Who do you think you are? And when you try to do things, and also it's like when you make decisions as well, there are some people that make decisions and then they go tell their families or friends that I'm trying to do this, and the friends will be like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Family members, because they protect us as well, and we end up not doing it because we think it's a good idea not to go and do the things that we want to do. And we can actually change our inner programming and change our lives as well. It doesn't mean that whatever the voices, whatever they say, our inner voice, whatever it says is the truth. So we have to unconsciously reprogram our mind and shape our beliefs. When you basically have people around you that shape our beliefs, they help you to shape your beliefs and be the person that you want to be, instead of discouraging you. So it is important. I 100% agree with you that sometimes we just have to basically listen to, there are there is a voice. Sometimes I call it the Holy Spirit. There's sometimes a voice that tells you, guide you through it, guide you through basically how to make a decision. But sometimes we choose that baby inner voice that has always been there, that has no fear, that does not fear anything, that will come in and guide you through. But sometimes we'll choose to ignore and just do whatever we want to do. I remember when I was doing my personal development, and I had to go back when I was a child and just forgive myself, because I had no fear then when I was a child. And there are things that the decision that I used to, like, if I wanted to make a decision, I would just go to my parents and say, I want to do this, can you guide me through whatever I want to do? And I was so lucky because my parents are basically, they are people that they allow us to be the person that we want to be, and they'll be helping me. But then I changed. As we go older, I started traveling and I started trying to fit in with people. And when you make friends, I don't know, Angie, whether you have ever experienced this before you go into personal development. You make friends and you start behaving like them, you start dressing like them, you start doing things like even the talking,
Yep.
you start, yeah, you start doing exactly the things that they do. We were talking about with my daughter. She has two siblings yesterday, and on her dad's side, they're twins. They are very, very posh, and we don't know where they get it from. And because they're not at school yet, they go to the nursery. The way they speak, they're like, oh my God, they're young, but they speak like older people. They're like, don't be ridiculous, I hope. And when they speak, they are like very, very posh. And we were like, these kids, there is someone, there must be a teacher in school, in their school, that speaks like them. So I've gone through all that where I copy my friends, how they dress and their style. And honestly, I had to sit down and say, what am I doing? This is making me miserable. So, and just stop talking myself out of where I need to be. And I started believing it's not an easy thing to do. And there are some people that they'll try to do it and then they give up because they get frustrated because they believe that everything has to be done very, very quickly. It takes time. So if
Mm-hmm.
anyone is watching, I don't know, Angie, how long it took you basically to actually start listening, talking, just trying to talk yourself into your blessings and talk yourself into that positive mindset. I don't know how long it took you. For me, basically, for 10 years, it's been a learning journey. I cannot say to anyone that it took me 5 months, it took me this. I can look back in my journey that every day I was learning something about myself, and every single day I was rediscovering who I am. So I don't know, how was the process for you?
I can completely resonate with everything that you've just said. Yes, we're not born with fears or anything like that. We're given them by other people, peers, parents, things like, school, all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying people do it deliberately and nastily, but there is that element of, oh, stay safe. Oh, stay safe. Don't do that. Oh, no, you don't want to get yourself hurt. So then you start fearing things. There was a CD that I first listened to when I started my path of self-discovery and recovery. And they was talking about the crabs, that we crabs, and we're no different, basically, in the sense of the crabs. The fisherman goes out and he puts the basket in the water, and the crabs all jump in. There's loads of stuff going off, and they're all jumping in, they're eating all the food and everything else. But when the food's gone and a crab tries to get out of the basket, the other crabs will pull them back in. And if they keep trying to get out, the crabs will actually then pull off the claws and stuff and kill them if they have to. Yes, okay, humans aren't that bad, but it's the same analogy. When you start working on yourself and you start noticing that there is people around you that are deflating you. I talk about people that elevate you or deflate you. So the people that elevate you, that keep you down, when you're trying to get away and grow, you get these people going, oh, no, 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 you can't do that. Oh, no, come back here. And I've learned to say no. And for anybody that's listening, no is a full sentence. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify why you make that decision. It's your decision, and that's okay. People who think that they can jump into self-development, personal development, inner growth, whatever you want to call it, and they can fix everything in months, I've got a sharp thing for you. It ain't going to happen. For me, I got on this journey at the age of 41. Oh yeah, 41. Wow. It took me 41 years to get to who I was. I ain't going to fix it in 5 minutes or 5 months. I've been on this journey now 9 years. And I still have days where the negative voice is telling me, or the protective voice, shall we call it, is trying to tell me, you can't do that. I still have them. But what I do is I spend more time noticing that inner voice, that protective inner voice. I spend more time noticing them now and sitting there thinking, okay, so let's find the evidence. At one point I went through this phase with my own business, that it doesn't work. It's not working. People don't seem to be, it's not working for people. How comes it's working for me, but it's not working for them? And I had to sit there and look at what was happening. And it was like, right, okay, find the evidence to show that it doesn't work. And I couldn't find any. Find the evidence that it does work. And I could find evidence. I was looking at it in the mirror. I'm evidence that it works. Unfortunately, people don't. So, it wasn't about me or the program that I've designed or the journal that I've designed. It's not about that. It's about people want quick fixes. We're brought up in a world now that everything's instant. When you're into personal growth, personal development, personal development is not a destination, it's a process. And, you might take 2 steps forward, 3 back. You might take 4 steps forward and 1 back. But it's a constant to-ing and fro-ing. But while you're doing this to-ing and fro-ing, you're learning more about you. You're learning your strengths, your weaknesses. And also, with the confidence side of things, confidence comes from doing, not from reading a book or listening to an audio or talking to a person. It comes from taking action. And that action I'm talking about is like that crab getting out of that basket. It's hard. A lot of people well, I can't get rid of my friends, I can't really get rid of my family, I can't get rid. No, I'm not telling you to get rid of people out of your life, but maybe limit your time if you're noticing those people aren't supporting you in going for what you want out of life. That is the best advice I can give to anybody. You know, I've not got rid of my friends or my family or anything like that, but I had to limit my time with them until I'd got out that basket. And then once I was out the basket, there was no getting back in. But then I could reintroduce people. And I think also a lot of people are very scared of being alone. None of us, you know, we're social beings. We like to be around other people, and that's okay. But it's making sure you're around the right people. So for me, I still get it on a daily basis, hands up. I still have those days where I want to chuck my dummy out the pram and say, stuff it, I'm done. I can't do this. I have them. I have those moments where I get in my own head and tell myself I'm no good at this, I'm no good at. That's natural, it's normal. But it's about having that time to be with yourself that makes all the difference. So the quick answer is yes.
I like it, Angie, when you say tell the story about the crabs. Basically, it's a story basically that shows that every time you're trying to grow, there's gonna always be something that will try to pull you down, and then it's up to you basically to keep getting up, keep getting back up. And also the confidence as well. You mentioned the confidence I listened to this guy on YouTube, and he was saying, oh, this thing where people, they will say with personal development, go in front of the mirror and keep saying I'm brilliant, I'm awesome. He was like, it doesn't work. It works for that time being, but then he was like, if you do like physical work, and then you do something and you stick to it, you give it a meaning to it. And it was like, if you go in front of the mirror and you tell yourself like affirmation, you do them every single time, and then as time goes by, it wear out and then you give up. But then it was like, if you give something a meaning and you say, this is me, this is this power that is holding whatever I'm doing. So this is me, this power, they all combine together. And if something that you do has a meaning and you get up in the morning, you know that there is a meaning for you getting up, meaning of your life, there is a meaning for your breathing, there is a meaning for this. And I was like, I can guarantee you, you will not give up. You will keep getting back up. Whenever you fall, you keep getting back up. And this is what you were saying as well. And also with the confidence, confidence is something that it has to be built. It's not something like what you were saying that you have to, it's a magic pill. There are no magic pill for it. It's something that you grow, and each and every single day. Like myself, I look back where I was and where I am today. I can see that every single day and every month I'm growing. Basically, I am growing, I'm learning things, I'm learning about. If you watch the video in Ngozi Talk Shows a year ago, because we started during the pandemic, and now they're just so different. And I had this guy that they handed me on LinkedIn, and this guy was like, "Can I just ask you something?" I was like, "What?" And it was like, with the Ngozi Talk Shows on YouTube, you've not been running for a long time, but your YouTube channel is growing. How are you growing it? And I was like, you have no idea. I keep basically changing the keywords on a thing for Ngozi Talk Shows to appear everywhere. I just keep testing and keep testing and keep testing, and sometimes I pay for keywords. I don't pay lots of money. I just pay for keywords just to see this one is trending, this one is this. I just keep testing it and keep testing it until basically I find something that works. So I was telling him that that's what I do, and he was like, we have been running for a very, very long time. They're a big company, and he was like, it took us a very, very long time to grow our YouTube channel. I was like, yeah, that's what I do. I basically, it's hard work, it's annoying. It's
Yep.
annoying, but it's something that is got to be done. And if I look back, if even on LinkedIn, it was like, for me, basically, for my profile to appear, for people to actually, it was like I had to do the work. It's not really like easy, like confidence wise. You have to do some research, and there's this voice that will be like, who do you think you are? You cannot do this. I don't think you can do this. And I'm like, yes, I can do this. For me, sometimes I call myself out. If I say I'm gonna do something and this voice comes in and say, no, you can't, and it's like start talking me out, I just call myself out and say, no, sir, out loud, you can do this. If you don't do it, that means you are a liar, because you promised yourself that this is what you can do. So if you don't do it, that makes you a liar. So I just have to get on and do it. And it is, it's not an easy, basically an easy thing to do, basically to talk positive, to change your self talk. And basically you just have to be aware, like measure it. You have to be aware when the positive uh, 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 comment with your voice appears. Be aware of it. When the negative self-talk appears, you have to be aware of it, so you can actually uh, listen to it, and then talk yourself back into where you need to be. Listen to yourself, and basically not judging. There are some people that start being too hard of themselves, and they're like, why am I like this? Why some people, they are going through the same thing. The people that are able to achieve the things that they want to achieve is because they are aware of what's going on in their lives, and they are able to deal with the negativity. And if you want to deal with it as well, you can do that and learn to deal with that negativity, and listen to the crops story that Angie was telling you, that when you try to go up, there's gonna be something that gonna try to pull you down. And also you were talking, mentioning about the family, that for me as well, I didn't have to change my family, I didn't have to change friends. But I've walked away from, if I know that there's friends, because I don't know whether you have ever had friends where you feel like you have to compete, you're not competing with them. Like when you go to them, you're trying to have a conversation, and the conversation, it becomes like a competition. So I have had to walk away from all those things, because I feel that I don't need to compete with anyone, and we are all individual, and there is a room for us to, because we're unique. Basically, for me, I see myself as unique. So if I'm surrounded by friends that I have to compete with them, then I'm no longer going to move forward with my life. Yeah, I'm just going to be thinking, what am I going to do now to look better? So
Mm.
it's not good for me. So things like that, you just walk away from it. If your friends want to value you, they want to come back to you and follow you, they will come back. But you just have to move your situation away, because life is not a competition. So I 100% agree with you that we are not born basically to fear things, but we start fearing things because we think we are not enough, or we scared of being judged by people. And even at Ngozi talk shows, there are some people that will say, oh, Noms, I would like to come to the talk show. And you invite them, they're like, oh no, not today. I have friends that are really, really good on Facebook, and I invite them on a talk show. They do their Facebook lives. When I invite them and go to talk shows, I can see is the fear. They're like, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come one day. So you can see that it is the fear. But if they're already doing live, so for me, basically, I see it like it's just normal. Because the talk shows is normal. and they can still do it. So they're like, oh no. So we fear. I don't know where the fear comes from, but for me, basically, I had to go back to my childhood and do everything that caused the fear for me to feel the way that I'm feeling, which is my childhood programs and adult programs, where I started adapting things from friends and family, and also like with my family as well. How I deal with them is, if I want to do something and this voice make a decision, I try. When I go to my family, it means I'm in the final moment. By the time they try to talk me out, I've already made a decision. So I basically try to have my own professional people, and I'll ask questions with them and say, what do you think of this? What do you think? And then we'll work on it. And then after that, I'll just have a hinge with my family. By the time they go, oh no, I'm like, no, it's okay.
It's too late. I've done it. I'm already out the basket.
Yeah. I don't know whether do you do that, Angie. I do that all the time.
I never used to, but yeah, I do now. Like you say, it's finding those people that elevate you and support you. And you say, right, okay, I'm thinking of this, and like, all right, okay, let's brainstorm it. How can we do it? Da da da. And then you start doing things, and then next thing you've got the other one saying, oh no, be like, be late. I've already done it. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm telling you this is happening.
Yeah.
But I also love how you know that compare-itis. You cannot compare apples with bananas. They're two totally different fruit. Nobody's got the same DNA. You might be related to somebody, but you're still unique. You're still different.
Yeah.
Do what makes your soul sing, not what somebody else's. You know, going back
Yeah.
to that when I was working for somebody else as the kennel manager, that was her dream, not mine.
Yep.
But I was building hers. So yeah, but yeah, I love it. Wait until you've started doing it, then tell the naysayers or the crabs, whichever way you want to call them. Too late. I'm out the basket. I ain't getting back in there. Love it. Bless you.
To build your dream, because like I was saying it yesterday. I was listening like Tony Robbins. You were at the VIP when Dana was saying, "Can you imagine your creator? You die, and your creator turns up with the video of who you would have become," and you were like, "Oh my God!" And
That
I
was
think
painful, wasn't it?
that would be really, really painful. Honestly, that would be really, really painful.
Yeah. Yeah. How
Uh,
did you find it? How did you find the 5 days? It was incredible. Well, I thought so.
it was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. I took lots of notes. I think it was awesome.
Mm.
It was brilliant.
It was
I
hard
was
work,
Yeah,
hard mental work. But, you know, like we were saying earlier, you know, nothing happens without action.
yeah,
And, you know, well, I've got a book full. My pen could not go fast enough.
yeah. Yeah, it was really, really good. And also, like I started looking at Tony Robbins and Dina, how many companies they have. And I started basically evaluating my life, and I was like, okay, this is the system that they use. So I need to go back to where they've been from the day one before they build all these companies. So I need to be unique and build my own company based on basically my situation. And because of Dean, basically, it was very, very clear that you need to have a clarity of what you need to do, and
Yeah.
that clarity is basically listening to your own inner voice, and be aware as well of that voice that wants to talk you out of your destination, and basically having that courage to take action and do things that you want to do. So it was good. I really enjoyed it. It
Yeah,
left
me
me
too.
with lots of homework though. So
Yeah, yeah. I did. I'll be honest. I did the written homework, but I didn't do the Facebook homework. So
oh,
my
I
bad.
didn't do the Facebook homework, but I wrote down the homework
Yeah.
that I need to do.
Right. Yeah. So you like me. You did the homework, but you writ it down for yourself. You wasn't all over the Facebook.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Which,
I didn't put it on Facebook. I was like, okay, but I really enjoyed the 5 day challenge. It was amazing. I like Tony Robbins. He's a very nice guy.
yeah. And, you know, I was talking to somebody the other day. In fact, it was my housemate, bless him. And
Yeah,
it was the first day. And he says, "What are you doing?" I says, "Oh, I'm going into some training and this, that, and the other." And then it was about 10:30. And he was like, "Are you still doing that?" And I
yeah,
went, "This is the stuff that people don't see you doing. What
yeah,
you're doing when nobody else is around is that your true person."
yeah,
And he were like, "What?" And then they actually said it on the webinar as well. And I was like, "Yeah, boom, just back to what I said earlier." But it's that inner work that you do. And I said, the thing is, most people won't do stuff like this. This is free. It's it's life changing. And it was a free event. Yes, I was like you. I went into the VIP and paid the bit extra. But it was a free event. So that question is, if it's free, what makes the difference between me and somebody else who doesn't do the work?
yeah,
And it's down to belief
yeah. It is down to our beliefs. Yes.
and what you're saying to yourself. So
Yeah,
if people can get rid of or quieten or work through what they're saying to themselves, that's when they become the person that they need to become to achieve what they want out of life. And they don't have that person there when you're at the end going, "Look what you've wasted." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was a powerful thing when he did that. I went, oh dear. Because it made me look back at my life and think, where would my life be now if I'd have stayed on the same path that I was on 9 years ago? What would my daughter's life would be like if
yeah,
I'd have stayed on that same path? And I spent about half an hour crying my eyes out and sobbing on my own. But it was just like, wow. And that, it was that internal voice then was just saying, look what you've done. Look how proud you should be because you made that decision. You made that uncomfortable action and you changed yours and your daughter's life. And
yeah,
now you're helping other people do the same. That stuff to me is just priceless. Priceless. So I don't know, you took a lot of notes, so did I. But the one question was, what do you want your life to be like in a year? If you are still doing the same
the
stuff as
same
you're
thing.
doing,
Yeah.
would your life improve in a year? Now,
No.
I could categorically sit there and go, absolutely, because I know how much daily work I do on myself. And, because I know that that's what's enabled me to get to where I've got to, is doing
Yeah,
that inner work.
yeah,
So because I spend so much time on my own inner work, I know if I carry on doing what I'm doing, my life's going to be totally different in a couple of years for the better. However, if I'm sat there watching TV and drinking my wine and or going to the pub or anything like that, that ain't serving my life.
no,
That's wasting my life.
yeah,
So I could actually, when he said that about where, is your life going to improve in a year's time by the stuff that you're doing now? I could actually just sit there and go, hell yes. And I went to bed smiling,
yeah.
smiling.
I've been doing some research basically since after the event and just checking things out because when you go to these events and then there's gonna be this voice that will talk you out of whatever has been said. So I've been doing some basically research to basically to find out how I can move forward with my life and stuff. I liked the part where Dean said, was it Tony Robbins or Dean, where he said, look at where you are now. And he was saying, that was Tony Robbins, talked about his daughter, that his daughter wanted to go into, was it acting or dancing?
Yeah.
yeah, and then he gave her the advice of what to do. Just get up and go and hang out with the people that are doing the same thing and ask them if they can help you. So I've been thinking about that I need to actually start approaching people and see if people can help me with that moving forward with my business and stuff. Because it's no point. It makes sense when they say if you want to move forward and you're still like hanging out with the same people and you're still in that place where you don't reach out to people, you don't do anything. So it's actually left me with some food for thought. So I'm gonna do my homework. I did make some inquiry, and I'm gonna do some homework. And once I do my homework and everything, once I finish, then I will start making some more really, really serious inquiries. Because it's like when these people you see them where they've been,
Yeah.
and you see where they are. Like Tony Robbins' story basically is similar to my story. Basically,
Hmm.
I lived in Essex, and when I was going through divorce, I was like, let me just move to somewhere else. And we moved to Hanley, and Hanley is a very, very expensive area. And when we moved down here, I actually lost friends because my friends did not make, they didn't see what I was doing made sense. To them, it didn't make any sense. We lived in a big, big mansion in Essex, and then we moved down here with my daughter, and we lived in a two-bedroom flat. That was 2009, and she went to private school. And my friend came, and they were like, "You mean you left, you went through divorce, and then you came to live in this place, like two-bedroom flat?" They didn't see anything. They didn't see what I was doing, my mindset, because I knew if I continue with that lifestyle, somebody else, because I had retired with football, somebody else is gonna have to maintain my lifestyle. So that means it's where I go and take my ex to court and start demanding money from him. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna live in a place where I can afford myself, and he's gonna take our daughter to a private school instead of paying for this big accommodation. So I lived in a, that was 2009. We stayed in a two-bedroom flat. So I lost my friends because they couldn't understand it. Hi, how are you, Mabenti Kamara? How are you doing? Yeah, they couldn't understand it. They didn't see, because that was the time where I got into personal development. And when I got into personal development, I had to cut down some things. For me to go to university, that means I had to, this voice of mine was like, Nomsa, you need to have a plan. And this other voice was saying, no, you can't do this. You need to this lifestyle that you are living. So for me to go to uni, and as a single mama, I had to. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Please feel free to communicate with us and type whatever you want to type.
I'm gutted
So,
because I'm on my phone. I can't really see the text, but I
oh,
did see
really?
that. Yeah, this is why I wish my PC's not. I wish that hadn't have messed about. So then I can see the comments.
Yeah. So, Angie, I had to live in a two-bedroom flat, and my friends, they couldn't get it. My friends that I had in Essex, they couldn't get it 2002. They were like,
Mm,
why would you live in a big mansion and then you come here, you live in a two-bedroom flat? But I knew I had a plan. I knew
yeah.
that I wanted to go to university and I wanted my daughter to go to a private school. So I was like, this, it works perfect for me. It's just the two of us. We're gonna stay in a two-bedroom apartment, and we were so happy. And my friends, they thought I was stupid, but I wasn't. So I managed to go to uni. I managed, my daughter managed to go and study. And it was so nice because I managed also to start my business. And if I had stayed in that lifestyle and start saying, basically kept saying, I deserve this lifestyle
Mm,
and I'm gonna stay here. Uh, Basically, the mortgage, if I wanted the house where we were, the mortgage was less. If I wanted to be here, living the same lifestyle, it would have cost me like £10,000 a month.
yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I need to cut down. I need to live a normal life. So I had to look back where I come from. And like Tony Robbins and Dean Grazes, that's what they say. Never forget where you come from, because that is going to help you to get to where you need to be. So I
Yeah.
had to look back, and I was like, I come from Africa. I'm privileged to be in the United Kingdom, but I don't need to live a glamorous life. I've retired football. I can still live a normal life. I can still go to uni, and I can build my business. Whatever God blesses me, I'm happy to receive it later. I lost my friend because they couldn't understand it. I was like, I'm okay with it. But my ex did understand. My ex was like, Nomsa, I thought I knew you, but you are completely bonkers. But I support you all the way. Honestly, because like when you go through divorce, some people they focus on, what do I deserve? I deserve this. For me, what I focused was, you look after your daughter, and you have to look after your daughter, and that will be it. So I focused on developing myself and
Yeah.
doing things. And I remember when we were going with him, and he was going to see the school, and he was like, you are completely bonkers, but I support you 100%. You don't back down. Because those were the times where I would have been under the pillow and crying. But I knew that I needed to do something. And this inner voice that was telling me that I wasn't enough, I had to go through the healing, because there were some things that, when you go through tough times, you have to look at your life and be honest. So for me, it was the time where I was honest. I had to be honest with myself. And like when Dean and Tony Robbins, I like them. They're honest. Like when they were showing us the video when they're
Oh, bless
backstage.
you. We all have to start somewhere, though, don't we?
I
And
was like, oh my God, that's awful. And
yeah,
it was awful. And I was like, I think I've done that as well with me starting my business.
we all, I've looked back and some of the posts that I'd written or the little video clips that I did when I first started mine.
Yeah,
And yeah, you're going, oh my days. But then, I'll flip it around. Look how far you've come.
yeah,
And that's why I love doing that. Looking back then to
yeah,
look at now and how far I've moved myself and, how far my daughter's come forward by the choices that I made.
yes,
There were scary, scary, scary moments. So, but glad I did them. And sometimes I love how you picked up that, you got rid of the big house to get something smaller. I did something similar recently. I'd got a camper van.
yeah,
I'd got my Mini that was brand new 4 years ago, or just over, 4.5 years ago, something like nearly 5 years ago, actually. And so I got two vehicles, and I was struggling with the camper van because it was expensive to run. But
yeah.
I'm a traveller. I reckon I was a gypsy in
You've not
another life.
sold it, have you?
It's gone.
Oh, really?
It's gone.
Oh my
And
God,
I had people saying
really?
to me, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" My daughter was, no, 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 no. Because, like I say, I think I was a gypsy in another life. I love traveling. I love being out in nature. Really heals my soul. And I
Yeah,
also believe we're not designed to be boxed in.
yeah,
Although, with what we've actually done is we've boxed ourselves in. We live in a cardboard box. We drive in a cardboard box. We live in a box. We drive a box. We watch a box. We talk to a box. It's all boxes. And I believe in being out in nature and being whole and taking all that in, because we're part of that too. So I was like, right, okay, so how can I make this happen? I can't afford to run the camper van. I've got two insurances, two tax to pay, two vehicles to put petrol or diesel in. I'm a single mom. I can't do this. Sometimes that voice is good, and people go, don't say can't. How can I? No, I'm going to be realistic. I need to shorten things down. Now, the Mini at the time, because I'd had it for so, I'd had it for so long, but it was costing me about £150 a month to have the Mini. plus all the insurance and everything else. So I thought, what can I do? And then one of my friends turned around and said that she'd sold her little camper van. And I was like, but you love traveling like me. What are you doing? And she went, I've reduced things, and I've now got a Citroen Berlingo. And I was like, what's one of them? So I goes on the internet and I had a look, and I was like, that looks a little bit like a granny car.
Yeah.
Compared to my brand new Mini and my camper van. But I'm like, but look what they're doing. So I sold the camper van, I sold the Mini, and I brought myself a Citroen Berlingo, and it's my camper car. So I've the seats have gone out the back.
Yeah.
I've built a cupboard in the back. It's a bed that's a sofa, so it sits up as a sofa, and then I pull it out at night, and it turns into a bed.
Okay.
Everything that I need. I've got one insurance, one tax to pay, and I still get to do what I want to do. But people were seeing me going a step backwards because I was getting rid of the camper. But what I've actually done is moved forward, because the money that I was paying for the Mini, I don't pay anymore. So I'm literally £250 better off a month by doing that. Now, personally, I think I would have been stupid to keep the camper and the Mini and try and be with the Joneses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And my daughter, when she came home, she was like, what is that? She was like, can we not keep the Mini? I was like, have you got £7,500? No. Well, that'd be a no then. But, you know, and a few other people are like, what you done? You've gone from a brand new car and a thing to a 13-year-old car. Are you mental? And I'm like, I would have been mental not to do it. But if I'd have listened to all those other people and my own inner voice a few times, I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, telling me, oh, no. I was telling myself, no, you're going to look like a failure. Why am I a failure? Because everybody else was telling me I was a failure, because I was going down to an old car rather than having a brand new car. No, but I couldn't go away in the Mini. I couldn't fit in it. Never mind my dog. But you know, now with the camper car, we've got a small camper, and we can do whatever we want.
I think it is very, very important. It's like we downsized our house. Like we moved. We had this house, and during lockdown, so the business wasn't going very well. And for me, I'm the person that I don't like to see my family really stressed. And I could say my spouse there was like getting stressed, like maintaining the lifestyle that we had before. So he was like, we're moving to your dad and we're going to find a house. We got let down last minute anyway. But we were talking today, we're like, we don't miss. Yeah, the sound is gone. Is the sound gone? We don't have the sound.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, because I'm on my phone, so I can't check.
Okay, let me check on my phone. Yeah, so we were saying today, because we downsized our home, we lived in a huge house before, and some of the place we didn't even, some of the rooms we didn't even use them. And now we're looking back at that, it was a waste, and the expenses that we used to pay, and I like, that is so much different. And my spouse, it was like, we are actually rich now because we don't have to pay all those bills that we paid before. And I was like, I think sometimes we think because we can afford something, we think that we can live this lifestyle, even if we are not, we can downsize. We think we deserve that lifestyle even when we are wasting money. And now I'm beginning to realize that actually we were wasting money because we didn't need that big house. But
exactly.
we did have it. And I was talking to Nikki as well. He was, let me see if we have the sound. And I was talking to Nikki as well, and Nikki was saying, oh yes, we do have the sound. And Nick was saying the same thing, that he had, they have a big mansion, I think in America, in Canada, they live in Canada, and it was like, Nomsa, we had to actually, when I resigned my work, we had to like, why are we have 2 kids, why are we living in this big mansion that we don't even use? So he had to downsize now because I'm going to live a normal life. So I'm like, sometimes I think we just have to, we have to look at the life that we want to live, because some people want to live for the sake of showing off, and
Yeah.
some people are living because they enjoy that life. But for me, I don't like the showing off bit. I like to live my life, and when I see
On
that,
your terms.
yeah, on my terms, I love
Mm.
it. And when this voice tells me that, no, sir, you could be this, I have to evaluate what I need to do. Like right now, we had a gym before in the house. The house where we are, we don't have a gym anymore. So he was saying, because I don't like going to a public gym, so we're gonna hire a place and have our own gym and build a gym, and that will be cheaper, because before we had a huge house, we had a gym and the children were enjoying it as well. So we're gonna keep doing that and maintaining that, where we're just gonna just live a normal life, I think. So that would be nice,
Mm.
to live a normal life, because sometimes when we have these voices that looks at other people's lives, and you think, oh, if I downsize, people will think that it's not, can't hear you. I don't know why you can't hear us, because I am here on YouTube. Let me see.
Probably the settings, or they've pressed something if they was on the phone, but they can't hear you anyway. So
Oh yeah, there's a sound on YouTube actually.
there
I
is
don't know. I
sound.
think it might be the network where she is.
Yeah, could be. Could
Might be
be.
the network. Might be, yeah, it could be the network. But oh,
Oh, it's okay.
it's
Yay!
a yeah. Awesome,
Yay!
awesome. Yeah, so it is very, very important to live your life in your terms, in your own terms, when you feel
Mm.
like, you know what, I can afford this life, and live it. And if you feel like, no, this life is stressing me, live that life and downsize and go and live the life that you can live. Don't stay there, because you get worried about people, what they're gonna say. People gonna start looking you down. The success basically is never about people, it's about you.
Mm.
Even when things are not working well, it's all about you, nobody else. Because when you are faced with challenges, like with the Ngozi Talk Show, if we have challenges at Ngozi Talk Show, it's all about people who are at Ngozi Talk Show. Everyone else gets to have the glory, but we get to have the stress.
The stress.
Yeah. So it's important for people to understand that if things are not going well, don't be ashamed or feel
No.
guilty that people are just going to think that I'm a failure. People are just going to think this. Even if you succeed, people always have something to say, negative to say.
Exactly. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
what you do. Everybody's got an opinion, so
yeah,
you may as well do the stuff that makes you happy and sod what they think.
yeah. I
Just saying.
always, yeah, I always talk to people like they have negative opinions about Tony Robbins. I always say, listen, like he's a nice guy. I like him. He's a nice guy. And I know sometimes, when you take courses, like people think that when you take courses, it's gonna be magic things. You're gonna start your business. It's just gonna go boom and it's gonna work just like that. But it's not the case.
Nope.
Challenges will always be there, because we are normal. We're living a normal life. Whether you go and buy courses from Tony Robbins or from anybody else, the challenges are the same. The process is the same. It's not that they have a magic wand and say, business, run fast.
Yeah. They the difference is they have a challenge and they work at fixing it. They don't just quit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the difference.
yeah. That's the
Challenges are
difference.
going to be with us regardless of what we do in life, business. They're always there. But if we don't face that challenge and deal with that deal with it, to me, it turns into a monster and it gets bigger.
Yeah,
So yeah, do what you want.
Yeah,
Definitely.
do that. That is right. Do what you think is right for yourself, not
Yeah.
for other people. Because at the end of the day, you are the one that has to get up in the morning. You are the
Hmm.
one that has to look at your bank, basically
Yeah.
account, the balance, and you are the one that values your life. So if you're gonna worry about people, they're not there.
No, I remember somebody saying to me when I started my path, and they were like, when you've got other people with their opinions, ask yourself, are they going to pay your bills if you
Yeah,
can't? And I was like, no. So why does their opinion matter?
yeah,
And I was just like, wow, 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 yes, wow. They're not gonna, nobody else is gonna do this for you,
no,
only you. So it's about doing things on your terms, what makes your soul sing, what lights you up. You
yeah,
know, to me, not everybody likes camping. My daughter hates it. No way she'll go camping ever again. Me, I love being out in nature. So I'm doing that for me. Because when now I've done it for me,
yeah.
I'm happier, which means I can serve other people and my clients better. I can give more to other people because you can't give from an empty cup.
Yep.
So it's about doing that stuff that you love, what excites you, your dream, nobody else's.
Yeah, that's why I always do that. My family thinks I'm bonkers anyway. For me, basically,
Yeah,
I do what is right. And when I'm not, when I don't feel okay, I don't fake it. I tell
good.
them that I'm not okay.
Mm,
Basically, I don't like if things are not going well. I ask prayers. Please pray for me. Things are not going well because I'm human. I'm normal, and I shouldn't worry about what people think. Because at the end of the day, they are not my creators. These people, they are
mm.
on earth. They have an assignment. And yes, yeah, that is true. That is true. People don't want to see you happy. And at the same time, you want to see yourself happy. So you're going to have to create that happiness and work with that beautiful voice that says you can't, that says you can, and be able to identify it as well, and just do the things that you want to do. I remember when I wanted to come to the UK, I was very very young, and I remember going to my dad and saying, I'm going to the UK. What do you think? And my stepdad, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. We'll help you. We'll support you. And my mom got scared and she was like, that's okay. And I just came here and I decided I'm not going to tell anyone. I came here and I lived my life. But when I came here, there were so many challenges, Angie. Like you
Mm.
guys, your culture is different than ours, coming from Africa. And I could not understand any of your accent. Oh my goodness. When they
I am
talk,
very, I'm very mindful when I'm doing things like this because because I come from a mining town.
yeah,
The accent is very broad, and if
yeah,
I, especially when I get excited, and I just
yeah.
go blah, 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 and all the what's the word I want to call, the lingo, the jog, I can't think of the word now, but when it comes out, people
Yeah.
are like, even people who are half an hour away from me, they'll go, what did you just say? And I'm like, what,
Honestly,
have you never heard that? They're like, no. I was like, oh, so I have to be very mindful. So hats off to you and anybody else that's come to England and English is not your first language,
it's
because we
hard.
have
It was
so
tough.
many, that's it, dialect. We've got so many different dialects and stuff, like different ways to spell a certain word. My hats off to every single one of you. Hats off.
Honestly, I was surrounded by Irish. Irish, they speak very quickly. Ashford Kenton, I
Sorry.
was like, what did you just say? I had no clue what this person is saying. And I'll be like, but then you have other people, they speak normal. And then you meet others and they're like, shh, when they're speaking. I'm like, I didn't even hear a word you just said. I'm just going to agree. Honestly, I was married just for 1 year, and after that wedding, I am not happy with the marriage, so I had to walk away. Yeah, you have to walk away if you're not happy.
Massive well done to you.
Well done.
That
Yeah,
takes some doing.
honestly, Angie, I had to go to college. Honestly, and I
Oh,
remember
bless you.
thinking, and when I gave birth to my daughter, I was like to my mother-in-law, you know what? I think I need to go to college and basically understand this, because I don't understand what this English accent, what these people are saying. I can understand some people. I had to go to college basically to learn to speak. And and I remember when the woman was marking my English thing, I was like, actually, I've just done it, because I was learning the culture as well. I didn't know the culture as well. And my stepdad said to me once that when you enter someone's land, you have to embrace who you are, where you come from, but try to learn their culture.
Yeah.
Not
Mingle.
trying to fit in, but try to learn their culture so you can
Yeah.
blend in and understand how they want to be treated. So that's why I said, you know what? You, my dad, you make sense. I'm gonna go to college. So I had to go to college to learn basically have an understanding when they speak, yeah, when they pronounce these words, what they say, and just to have an idea of speaking like in public, because you know when it's English is not your first language, there's gonna be like embarrassment that I'm
Mm.
not good enough. So that's where I got my confidence, because you have to practice the speaking as well, and they have to give you the marks, do the exams as well. So I had to do that, and that's what you guys had to put me through.
Sorry. Well, not me personally. I didn't do it. I remember when I moved to the south of England, I
Yeah,
was 19, and I moved to the south of England, and wow, I was literally near Brighton. I was in Bognor Regis, and they would be like, "What are you saying?" And I'm
yeah,
like, and then I actually at one point I chose to write down the words
yeah,
and explain what it meant, and they were
yeah.
like, "Oh." So for me, for instance, a fireplace we used to call an hearth. So if I
Okay.
mentioned hearth, they'd be like, "What's an hearth?" And a jitty, a ginnel, what I can't think of the thingy, gennel, all sorts of stuff, different words for different things. So
Yeah,
even the south don't understand people up north. In fact, I'm Midlands, I'm not up north.
yeah.
But yeah, even the southern people. So like I say, hats off to any of you, because English don't understand English sometimes.
And my mom, when she speaks to Hope's dad, I remember her saying, "This one speaks normal." It's like, yeah, he speaks normal, because normally when she speaks to my friends, she'll be like, I couldn't even understand a word they were saying." And then you go to Essex accent, it's a little bit better. And
Mm,
here in a Hanley, the accent is better.
yeah.
And my father-in-law, they are from Liverpool. Yeah, it's a bit
Oh,
horrible.
told you. The northern you get, the different the dialect,
Yeah, it's
and the faster they talk.
yeah, it's very fast. Yeah, like slow
Yeah.
down, slow down, slow down. But those were the challenges that I had to go through as an African person. But I was willing to basically listen to my inner voice, and the
Mm.
negative voice that was speaking to me saying, Nomsa, you can't do this. And I had to actually say, no, I can. I had to actually learn the culture and learn the language. I don't like fish and chips, by the way. I like fish. Chips making me do go to the gym Monday to Friday. No, I like chips. I like fish. That's my favorite. So I had to learn the culture, and I had to learn to fall in love and get to know British culture. It's so nice. So
Mm.
those I know there are some people. The reason why I'm saying this, there are some people that come from Africa, or they come from Afro Caribbean and black like me, and they're scared that who is going to listen to me. People, if you have a message that is empowering people, people want to listen. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid, like Angie was saying. So Angie is 17 minutes past. Any words of encouragement?
Me and you. Blah, 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 blah. My encouragement to people is listen to that inner voice. And if it's talking negative to you, find somebody that can help you change that to a positive. Listen, don't take advice. Right. Here's one that I heard. If you're wanting relationship advice, don't listen to somebody who's single. They haven't got a clue. So if you want to do something, you want to change something, listen to those people that have been there, they've done it, and they've changed, and they can help you. So make sure you spend time on you.
So for me, basically, there's nothing for me to add. Spend time on you, like what Angie said, and just listen to evaluate your voices, the good ones, and try to basically work on your fears. And don't be afraid. Fear, everyone has got it. You look at people that have been in the business for a long time, they still have fear, but they know they've worked out how to deal with it. So just work on whatever you want to work on, and know that you can be who you want to be only if you are willing to face that voice that say you can't, and say no voice, I can. So we are here Monday to Friday at Ngozi Talk Shows at 1 p.m. UK time. And please, you can follow Angie at her social media. And if you want to connect with Angie, find out how she is able to lead from within and find her own voice, she'll give you a free consultation and see if you can work together. And if you want to connect with me, please do. With the other coaches at Ngozi Talk Shows, please do. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.